What's up, you guys? Welcome back. If you're new, my name is Jess. Be sure to smash that subscribe button before you go. Today's video is going to be kind of intense. We're going to be talking about how to help an addict. Now, this video has been so requested, and it was one that I wanted to take my time making because I didn't want to just get on here and be like, and just talk. I wanted to think about it, take a step back, ask other people what they thought, because this is a really sensitive topic and I do not want to shy away from it just because it's a sensitive topic. I also want you guys to go into this video with an open heart and an open mind and just know that I'm just talking to you guys like you're sitting in my living room and we're having a conversation. I feel like all of you guys are my friends, so I'm just giving you advice that I would give to people that I know. I know we don't know each other personally, but I just feel like we do. I don't know, it's weird. So before we get into that though, I just want to thank each and every one of you for getting this channel to 40,000 subscribers. I mean, I never thought that my channel was gonna grow to even hit 10,000 subscribers. So this channel has just grown and developed into something that I am so proud of, and you guys are so kind to me, but more importantly, you're kind to each and every other subscriber in the comment section, and that is what makes me so happy. So I'll listen, girl, no. I'll read the comments that you're saying to each other, and they're so kind and they're so encouraging and supportive, and that means so much to me. So thank you so much for being so nice to the other subscribers on this channel. I want to keep this place like it's a real place. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep this channel positive and encouraging and supportive and kind, and I just see that you guys are following suit and you're being kind to one another, so I can't even tell you how much that means to me. So before I start crying, y'all know me, let's just get into it. My first piece of advice on how to help an addict has nothing to do with the addict, kind of. It's to go to AlAnon meetings. Now, I think this is so important because you need to go to AlAnon meetings, in my personal opinion, so that you can learn how to better help the addict, but so that you can learn how to help yourself too. And what I mean by that is, AlAnon will give you amazing support. You'll be able to find people there that are going through the same thing that you're going through. And when we're dealing with an addict in our lives, addicts can be kind of selfish at times, or manipulative, or abusive, and it's very hard to deal with. So if you take a step back and you talk to someone and you find support and you feel like you have someone to go to, it just makes all the difference in the world. So I had a family member that was struggling with addiction after I got sober, and I was just so frustrated, upset, worried. I was losing sleep over it. I was constantly in a state of fear, and I was so close to the elephant, the problem, that I couldn't see that it was an elephant, and I was just obsessing over it, right? So I started to go to AlAnon meetings, and that's where I learned that I can't control this person. This person has to make those choices, and I learned just how to be okay in my own mental space. So AlAnon is just a really good meeting. You can find them in every city, I believe. And I just think they're really important because you matter too. And addicts are like me, but you matter too. So my first piece of advice is to look for AlAnon meetings. You want to help addicts in a way that is safe for you and helpful to them. And what I mean by that is it's very important to not enable an addict. And that's very, very tricky because we want to help our loved ones. We want to help our family members. We want to help them with the things that they need. However, there's a fine line between enabling them and helping them abuse drugs and helping them get their life together. So my second piece of advice is to not give an addict money. Now, I know this is really sensitive, and of course I don't know every single person in the world. I don't know every addict. I don't know every situation. Everyone's different. But in my personal experience, it is not wise to give an addict money. Now, you can help them in beneficial or constructive ways, and that would look like giving them a ride to a job interview, or helping them by giving them groceries, not giving them money to go get groceries, because when you're an addict, drugs come first. Everything else and anyone else comes second, last. So that's a big deal. And just kind of my like go-to advice here is, if an addict is really happy with you, you're probably enabling them. If they're upset with you, you're probably trying to save their life. And that is so tough, which is why we go back to the first piece of advice, which is to go to AlAnon meetings to get support with this, because man, I mean, when you're trying to save someone's life and they're like screaming at you and they're manipulating you and they're yelling at you and you're in that toxicity, it's really hard to say no. It's really hard. They might be angry, they might be pissed off, they might be yelling at you, but you're probably trying to save their life. So it takes a lot of strength to deal with an addict, and I didn't understand it until I was on this side of it. And for me, just in my personal experience, I was the architect of my own life. no one was enabling me. No one was helping me use. My family was very detached from my life. I was footing the bill for a lot of things in my old life, including my own addiction. So they really couldn't tell me no. I controlled people in my life with money, and I did that because I liked power. I liked control. I liked the fact that you couldn't tell me what to do, especially if I'm paying your rent. And I used money as a tool to control people, and that sucks. I wasn't doing things out of a place of love. I wasn't doing things out of kindness. I wasn't doing everything for my family or friends because I loved them. I was doing it for them so they would shut up and leave me alone and let me live my own life and let me be an addict. And that sucks to admit, but I have to keep it real. I was a very manipulative person, and I felt like if I was footing the bill for you, I can do whatever I want and you can't tell me anything. And addicts kind of have that like that whatever, that personality that's larger than life, and it's hard. It's really hard to deal with, and it's frustrating. So that was kind of a ramble and a rant, but do not give an addict money. That is my personal opinion. It is important to let an addict know that you are there for them when they are ready to get help. It's also important to that addict that you are not overbearing with that. And what I mean by that is, let me just give you a little story time here because I kind of relate everything back to my own life. When my family member would call me, just to talk, just to chat, I'd be like, please go to rehab, and I'd be crying and I'd be crazy and in their face. And that made them more distant because they're like, I don't want to call her because she's going to scream at me and yell at me and whatever. So that's not constructive. That's not healthy to constantly be yelling and crying and fighting and arguing and pushing them to go to rehab. They have to be ready. And I think that is the most frustrating thing. So my third piece of advice is to be patient, because you never know when that person's going to be ready, and they need to know that you're there for them when they are ready. So maybe sometimes if your family member sees you going to Al-Anon meetings, they might be like, you know what, maybe I should go to an NA meeting or an AA meeting, or maybe I should go to meetings. And you can just kind of have those open conversations. I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. You can, talk about it in a constructive way, in a healthy way, and that is not always going to be easy, because a lot of times when you're talking to an addict about getting help, they're going to think of it as you're attacking them. So just be patient. Be very patient and let them know that you're there with open arms and an open heart, and try to make them see that you're not judging them. And I think that's so hard, you guys. I mean, all of this is really hard because we're human beings, we have emotion, and we want to save our loved ones' lives. I think that if I felt like I could talk to someone about what was going on in my life, then maybe I could have gotten help. But then again, I was a very strong-willed, very intense, very violent, very vicious, very angry person. But I just felt so alone. Like I felt like I couldn't go to anyone and just talk about my struggles. I felt like no matter what I did, I was being judged or shamed. And that's a lot of me putting that on myself. So if you are an addict and you're watching this video, I think we shame ourselves a lot, and we're like, oh, they're not gonna wanna help me, I'm a bad person, or you feel shame for being an addict. And I'm just here to tell you that's normal. That is us putting that on ourselves, and you'd be hard pressed to go to someone and be like, hey man, I need help. Please help me get into a program. Please help me get into rehab. Please take me to a meeting. You'd be hard pressed to go to people and ask for help and have them turn you down. And I always felt like the fear of rejection. I didn't want to ask for help, but asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. So if you're a loved one of an addict, be there for them when they're ready. Be patient. Go to Al-Anon meetings because you matter too. Don't enable them, but love them. And if you ever have any other questions about this, or you feel like I've left something out in this video, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I will always be there, or I will try to always be there with advice. It is a little bit tricky to keep up with all the messages and everything, but I am trying my best because this is a very serious thing, and I want to see more people talking about addiction on YouTube. I know that this is a very sensitive topic. If I have offended you, I'm sorry. I don't know everyone's story, but I do know what it's like to be an addict, and I know how hard it is to ask for help. So I'm sitting here 7 years sober for heroin, meth, and pills. 7 years sober. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think we build it up in our heads and we're like, oh, this is impossible. This is so hard. I can't do this. I am living proof. So please do not think it's impossible, because I'm telling you right now, life is so beautiful outside of addiction. And a lot of times we live in this fog and we think there is just no life outside of this. We think life on the other side of addiction is so hard, but I'm telling you, that life that you're living right now is 10 times harder. My worst day now is 10 times better than my best day using drugs, and I am so grateful to be sober, and I can finally see my life for what it is, beautiful. I can look at myself and say that you're beautiful, your family is beautiful, and I've been blessed more than I can ever say. I am so grateful for every little thing, especially my sobriety. And when you put sobriety first, when you put your recovery first, everything will fall into place in time. It takes a lot of time to go down the path of addiction and destroy your life and destroy relationships. Well, it takes that same amount of time, effort, and energy to rebuild a life. So be patient with it. And if you're the loved one of an addict, be patient with that addict, because it's really tough. It's an everyday battle for so many people. So do research, find a meeting, reach out for help. No matter if you're an addict or the loved one of an addict, you need support because you matter. So I really hope this video has helped you guys. And if I left something out, please let me know. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, and I will see you in my next video.